Good morning and happy Thursday and happy second day of our distant learning. So today we are going to talk about multiplying and dividing integers. And in my personal opinion, multiplying and dividing integers is actually fairly simple. And I'm hoping that you will find that too. So here we begin. Now, there are only two rules in multiplying and dividing integers. First of all, if you have a positive times a positive or a negative times a negative, these will always be positive. So if you have like signs in multiplication, you will always have a positive number. Sorry, guys. So you will always have a positive number. So let's do some problems like this. How about we look at, let's go back to very first. You guys all know that 2 times 2 is going to give you 4. So positive 2 times a positive 2 will always give you positive 4. Now, if I introduce a negative 2 times a negative 2, that is also going to give me positive 4 because I have a negative times a negative, which means I have like signs will always give me positive. Let's do one more example. Okay, negative 3 times negative 9. And the reason I'm putting these parentheses around my numbers is to make sure that I'm grouping my negative signs together. That's going to give me a positive 27. Everybody good? Now, here's our second rule. When the signs are different, for example, if I have a negative times a positive or a positive times a negative, I will always get a negative solution. Okay? So if your signs are different, your solution will always be negative. So here we go. Let's do some examples of this one. Example, how about my favorite multiplication problem? Negative 12 times positive 12 will give me a negative 144. Another example, how about 10 times negative 5? This one is going to give me negative 50. I have unlike signs, which will give me a negative number. And guess what, folks? When we get to division, nothing changes. The rules are the same. So division rules are the same. As multiplication rules. So you don't have to learn anything really new. Here we go. Positive divided by a positive is always positive. A negative divided by a negative is always positive. Now, this, if you remember in class, we've talked about division as being represented as fractions. So this applies to that as well. If I have a positive divided by a positive, I always get positive. Or if I have a negative divided by a negative, that's always going to give me positive. Now, unlike signs, again, if I have a positive divided by a negative, that will always be negative. Or if I have a negative divided by a positive, that's always going to give me negative. And if you want to do the division with fractions, we're going to be positive divided by negative will give me a negative, or a negative divided by a positive will always give me a negative. Today's lesson is very easy, and as you can tell, there's not much to it. I thank you very much for listening, and good luck.